Hi everyone, welcome. And thank you for being a part of the Global AI Hackathon and the Global AI Builder series. I'm glad to be a part of it as a speaker and will share a practical guide on building a winning AI solution or hackathon project, from scoping the right problem, building with the right tools, and delivering a compelling pitch that stands out and creates a real impact. My name is Srinidhi Vaddy. I'm a data science and analytics professional, and I'm currently working at Stripe as a tech ops engineer. My background spans data science, applied machine learning, system design, and building scalable data pipelines across industries, including fintech and supply chain. I hold a master's degree in information management from the University of Washington, where I specialized in data science and business intelligence. I've also contributed to peer review of machine learning research and serve as an ambassador with Women in Data Science. What I think gets me a useful perspective for this session specifically is that I've had the opportunity to judge major hackathons and startup competitions, including events at Yale University, the AI Startup Challenge by Columbia University, and the Dempsey Startup Challenge, among others. So across these experiences, I have evaluated hundreds of project pitches and presentations, giving me a fairly clear picture of what consistently separates the projects that stand out from the ones that don't. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today. So in the next 13 to 15 minutes, I want to give you a practical, honest guide to choosing, building, and pitching a winning AI project or solution, whether you're doing it for this hackathon or for a real world problem that you're trying to solve. And everything that I'm going to share is coming from both sides, having built these solutions myself and evaluating them as a judge. It isn't just theory, but pattern recognition of what gets rewarded and why. So we'll cover 5 things: how to scope the right problem, how to build the focused MVP, what stakeholders and judges are actually looking for, how to deliver a presentation that lands, and why all of this applies far beyond just hackathons. So to start off with, choosing the right problem. The single biggest mistake I see teams make in hackathons, project work, or research is just jumping straight into building without clearly defining the problem. Your problem statement is the key. You have to get it right, and everything else, the tech, demo, and pitch, becomes significantly easier. And so I want you to walk through with me on these 4 questions that I encourage every team to answer before writing a single line of code or developing anything. Think of it as your pre-flight checklist. The first one: is your problem novel, real, and specific? Can you tell me the type of user category that this is impacting? Is the angle genuinely fresh? So frame that problem in one line: who, what, and why it matters. Your problem statement is the moat. Second, what is the impact? This is the one that separates projects that get attention from those that don't. Impact is what gets funded and invested in. Can you quantify, like, how many users is it going to impact? How many hours is it going to save? How much money is being lost and will not be because of the solution to this problem? If you can't measure the impact, you haven't defined the problem well enough yet. Third, how do you solve it? And is AI the right tool? If so, which AI tool? This is very critical. Not every problem needs AI. So ask yourself this: does any of the AI tools available today genuinely add value to what I'm trying to build? And if yes, justify why. Using AI, use AI to make the most of it and build a solution that other approaches won't be able to. And lastly, can you demonstrate it in the time that is available? You don't need a fully deployable product. You need a focused MVP that clearly demonstrates the concept and the value. So scope for proof of concept, not production. Now, since you've gotten the problem, let's talk about building it. The number one thing that I want you to take away from this section is less is more always. So here you can see what the overbuild trap looks like. A team will spend 80% of their time training a custom model from scratch, building a mobile app and a web dashboard and an API, creating a real time data pipeline, and adding 10 features to show how much they can do. But the result is that nothing is actually working well, the demo might break, and the core problem gets buried under a pile of half finished functionality. Whereas the winning approach looks like this, where you're using a fine tuned or prompted pre built AI tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever fits best. You build one clean working interface, an app or a web page, and test it thoroughly. If it's a data driven project, you have focused on the quality, quantity, and the right features. You have built one or two features only, but they address the core problem explicitly. And then you note everything else that needs to be done as future work. And make sure that your presentation is balanced, where idea, execution, design, everything is covered really well. The teams that win are not the ones who built the most. They're the ones who showed that one thing very clearly that has worked. So, before we talk about the nuances in building, I want to give you something practical, a quick decision framework for which AI tools to reach for, depending on what your problem actually needs. So, if your problem is about understanding or generating text, GPT-4, Claude, Gemini, or Grok, these are all available tools. If you need voice, which is speech to text or text to speech conversion, 11 labs for voice generation, there's OpenAI Whisper or Assembly AI for transcription. For vision, such as analyzing images, detecting objects, and generating videos, there's GPT-4 Vision, RoboFlow, or Runway ML for video, and so on. The point isn't to know all of this. The point is identify which layer your problem lives in, then pick one tool and go with it. So now coming to some of the key nuances to get right while building. A few more specific things that are worth flagging here. So again, as I mentioned, if you're working with data, ask yourself this: do you have enough training data? Are you selecting the right features? Overfitting is always a concern, so make sure that does not happen. Next, if you're building a web page or any kind of UI, it has to work. So test every flow. A simple working interaction will always beat a polished, complicated wireframe every single time. Third, stay on the problem. Every feature should be traceable back to the core problem statement that you're trying to solve. If you can't explain why a feature is there, cut it. Fourth, be ready to explain your tech stack, what tools you used and why did you use it. Intentional choices signal engineering maturity. Next up is incomplete does not mean failure. A clear demo and a strong narrative can absolutely carry an unfinished product. Show the concept compellingly and address what's missing as future work. That shows maturity and it's not a weakness. And lastly, design matters. A cluttered interface or an unreadable slide will damage the credibility as much as broken code will. So, idea, execution, and design, all three need to be addressed and need to be balanced well. Now, let's talk about the people on the other side, the stakeholders and the judges. Understanding what gets rewarded is half the battle. So, there are four dimensions that I see that consistently matter, or what judges look for when they're looking at these presentations or looking at the AI solution that you have built. The number one is the novelty and clarity. Is this a genuinely fresh angle? And can anyone grasp it in 30 seconds? One crisp sentence that this is the problem and solution and the benefits or the impact. Just make it memorable and very clear. Second is the relevance and the impact. Does it address a real important need? Can you quantify it? Impact is what gets invested in. Next up is execution. Does it actually work? Is the technical approach sound? A live demo will always beat screenshots. A working flow will beat a polished mockup. And try to explain your stack. Show that your choices were intentional. And lastly, design and presentation. A clean product and a readable deck signal execution quality. So don't underestimate this. And the percentages given here are just general advice. It depends on each hackathon, but these are the four main pillars that are always covered or looked into by stakeholders or judges. The next thing that I want to flag is communication. Communication always wins. Even without a fully deployable product, how you communicate is what people evaluate. It must be crisp, number one, no detours. Show the problem in a way that makes the need undeniable before the show the answer that of what you've built. And always address limitations of your work honestly. That builds trust with the judges or the stakeholders. And always include future work. It shows that you have thought beyond the prototype. Next up is delivering a compelling presentation. How you tell the story is as important as the solution or the story that you have built. Here is a structure that works really well. 5 parts that roughly translate into 4 or 5 minute pitch, but you can adjust it according to your format or the solution that you have built and what you want to focus more on. Part 1 is the hook. Always open with a striking fact or a real user story or a bold question. Your hook must show that the problem is undeniable, and then it should grab the attention and be memorable that judges and stakeholders will always remember. Next up is the problem. You have to state it in one sentence. Who experiences it, what it costs them, and why it matters now. Quantify the impact if you can. Next is solution and the demo piece of it. This takes about 1 to 2 minutes of your main pitch time. Show it and don't describe it. Walk through the core user flow, briefly explain the tech stack as well, and then move into the limitations. While you are also showing the impact, which is quantifying the value that you have tried to build. But a lot of teams don't address the limitations. What doesn't work yet? What assumptions did you make? What are the current constraints that you are seeing? This level of intellectual honesty builds far more credibility than just overselling the work that you have done. And lastly is the future work and vision. What does this look like at scale? What are the next steps? Always end it with a clear direction, because then it signals that you have thought beyond and are actually going to stick with the work that you have started. So, couple of key do's and don'ts that might make or break your presentation. As emphasized earlier and multiple times, your hook should always be first and always. You have to make the problem undeniable. Don't just ease into it, make it very clear. Second, always have a backup. Record a 60 seconds capture of the main demo, which is your product actually working. If anything breaks live, play that video and then walk them through what's happening. This preparation will signal professionalism. It's not a failure, but rather a foresight that you have looked into. Again, show and don't just describe. Open the demo, let them use the tool or the web page or app that you have built. Don't just explain the architecture. Now, overall, keep your demo generally within the 5 minutes time limit so that there is some time for questions as well. And it's not a lot of information just thrown at the judges. Now, what to avoid? Don't apologize for bugs. They can happen. Stay calm if something breaks and pivot gracefully. And as I mentioned, have a demo in place. Don't read your slides. Your audience can read and you know exactly what you have done. So just talk to them and explain what you have done. And lastly, don't neglect design. Cluttered interface or unreadable slides will only hurt your pitch. So make sure that you have spent enough time understanding and focusing on the design aspect as well. Now, from hackathon to the real world, Before I wrap up, I want to zoom out for a moment because everything that we have talked about isn't just about winning a hackathon. Whether you're building for a hackathon project or a startup or a product feature at your work or even a research work, all of these questions apply there as well. Who is the user? What is the frustration? Who is it that is losing time, money, and opportunity without the solution? What are the pain points? Is it that they're losing some amount of money? Is it that they're losing time? Be very specific with those pain points and try to quantify it. The more precise you are with the frustration, the more precise your solution can be. What is the solution? What are you trying to build? So state it in one sentence. If you need more than one sentence, maybe your problem is still not very clear enough. And lastly, using AI. Is AI genuinely adding value? Not just to make it fancier and because it is the talk of town right now. If try to see how real value can be built using AI, something at scale or a precision that other approaches cannot match. So these are not just hackathon questions to ask. These are questions behind every successful AI product that I have seen been built at work, in research, in the communities that I have been part of. Get these right. And you're not just building for a competition, you're building the way people who build things that last actually build. And so to close it out, there are 6 things I want you to carry with you throughout. And always remember, scope the right problem, novel, real, specific, and quantifiable. Build less, demonstrate more. 1 or 2 features is good. Everything else can cover in future work. Make AI earn its place. Use it where it creates value that no other approach can, and use it to the best of its ability. Next, design and novelty. Both of them matter. A clean product and a fresh angle will attract a lot of attention. Communication and story wins. Crisp pitch, problem solution impact, addressing limitations, showing next steps. All of this builds trust. And think beyond the moment. These principles that we have spoken about apply to every product that you will ever build long after this hackathon. So always carry these principles and these questions with you. So from my experience, I can tell you that this pattern is strikingly consistent, that clarity is the whole game. It takes honesty about what your solution actually does versus what you wish it did. It takes being willing to cut everything that doesn't serve the core problem. So, keeping that in mind, I wish good luck to every single team, and let's build something that matters. Thank you.